Happy Spookies, everybody. I hope you're all doing well, having a most excellent day. And today we're going to go ahead and check out a brand new found footage horror movie that was just released today by Robert Livings called Infrared.
Paranormal investigation show. We have gotten permission to go to Lincoln School. It is an enormous abandoned building, and that's our next haunt.
Do you know why it actually closed?
I do, yeah. What actually happened is that there was a gas leak in a classroom and a teacher and 5 students died.
Now, I got a screener for this last week, but it does come out today, so I was holding off until then, just in case we do get into some spoilers. And if we do, as always, I'll be sure to let you know beforehand, and it'll probably be near the end of the video. Now, the movie stars Greg Sestero as Jeff, aka the owner's manual. A lot of people will recognize this guy from the movie The Room, that Tommy Wiseau movie. He's, I believe his name was Mark. We also have Jesse Jansen as Wes. He is the lead investigator in this paranormal investigation crew. He was also in a movie called Cry Wolf that I just recently watched last night, and it was really, really good. We have Leah Finney as Izzy, who plays the sister of Wes. We also have Ariel Ryan as Jane, and we have Randy Nundol, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, Jr. as Randy. Sorry if I said that last name wrong. There's also a few other people in the movie. We're going to stick with the main people we follow around. It's all about this paranormal investigator by the name of Wes. He has a crew, and he's finally been given access to something that he's been wanting to investigate for a very, very long time. And it's this old Lincoln High School building. I think that's the name of the building. I don't know. It's an old school that was basically closed down because of an incident where a teacher, and there's like a bunch of rumors spreading around. It's something about like a teacher either killed kids or they burned or something like that. There's, like I said, there's a lot of rumors going around with this one particular building, and he's finally given access to it. But once they're introduced to the guy who owns the building, he gives them a quick tour. He breaks down, the facts of the building, lets us know what really happened and things like that. But shortly after, of course, things start to go bump in the night and secrets start to be uncovered. I thought it was a really entertaining movie. I would consider this one of those like popcorn type of movies where you just, you kind of want to just turn your brain off, you watch it, and you're entertained. I was entertained throughout the whole movie. It also felt like a drama because there's a lot of the movie is following this relationship between this brother and sister who are just have not been keeping touch for like the last couple of years due to some recent fallout. And I would say about until the final act is when things really start kicking off. But it was really good. It has one of those text openings where it says, okay, this is a pilot episode, this and that. It also lets you know at the very beginning that we're watching 2 different tapes that were found in this old abandoned building right before they were going to demolish it. And if you don't have that in your found footage movie, is it really found footage? But I really enjoyed the acting in this movie, especially from the main 2 leads, Wes and Izzy, the brother and sister in the movie. It really shows that there's like some unresolved issues going on when they finally interact with one another, and it shows how uncomfortable Wes becomes, because at the very beginning of the movie we get an introduction to like his style of investigating. We also get a quick glimpse of how Izzy does an investigation, because the camera crew, the producer, wants to kind of follow her along as well, and they both have different styles. I really enjoy that. Wes is very over the top, he does exorcism, things like that. Izzy is more of a cleanser, she helps people let go of lost ones. So my man Wes is one of those over-the-top people, but when they finally interact, it is so awkward. There's this one scene where the producer is just like, okay, why don't you let Izzy start us off? And Wes is like, okay, well, this is my show, what the fuck, He doesn't say that out loud, but he's let us know already how he feels a little bit about it. And when she's doing the introduction of the shot, he just looks so miserable, and so like, I don't want to fucking do this.
An infrared camera that Wes set up.
I don't know, the acting between the main 2 leads was really good. It gets a little over the top towards the end when like shit goes down, but that's pretty much expected, when you're in like tense situations and things like that. Also, I thought Greg Sestero was pretty good in this. He goes by the name of Jeff, the owner's manual, because he owns the building. I don't know. It's a really interesting movie, what they do with it towards the end, I thought, because it kind of goes in one direction. You're like, okay, they're investigating some shit. A bunch of paranormal stuff starts happening. And then at the end, it kind of does a little spin on it, but it still also sticks with the paranormal aspect, which I enjoyed. Nothing new we haven't really seen, but the 3rd act is where it really shines, in my opinion. I would suggest just stopping the video here. Let me know what you guys thought, because I'm going to get into some spoilers. If you want to go and check out the movie first, go ahead and come back and finish the video. That's cool with me. I appreciate you all who watched so far. I love found footage. You know that I do. Anyway, spoilers. So why I say the third act really shines in this movie, in my opinion, is because, like I said it before, it goes into like this supernatural aspect where, okay, things where you think you have an idea of how it's gonna play out, but it totally flips it. Because, like I said at the beginning, it starts off with a text card where it says we are watching 2 films. The first film we actually see is of this girl, Ariel Ryan, who plays Jane. She is a solo investigator, and she's waiting in her car, and then Jeff just pops up out of nowhere, talks to her really quick, gives her keys, and says go ahead, and she does her own little investigation. She ends up leaving like 2 little cameras in like a hallway where most hotspots are reported, and while she's in there, all of a sudden it pulls like a Blair Witch thing where like the camera falls and you don't hear anything, and all of a sudden the camera gets picked up and it cuts out. So you're like, okay, what the fuck was that about? And then the second movie plays, and you kind of forget about all that until Wes and his crew come across the little cameras from the very first film, and then you start remembering, like, oh yeah, shit, like that wasn't that the camera with the girl at the beginning? And I started putting things together as the movie played. I'm like, okay, this crew is supposed to be the first crew in here, but we saw that girl. Is Jeff lying here? And they end up watching the films and the cameras, and they see the girl investigating the building. She's by herself. All of a sudden she's being carried away, and they notice it's Jeff, the owner's manual. It's like a crime scene. All of a sudden everything changes for them. There's also still a supernatural aspect because they finally get access to the basement of the building, which have been the epicenter of like all the rumors and everything like that, and they believe it's the hot spot of most activity. And Jeff was very weird about it. Once you watch it a second time, you will see like red flags from Jeff. Like, this dude seems a little off. And once they get to the basement, they end up encountering a female ghost, which is very creepy. She's like sitting in a chair, and she like turns around. All of a sudden, she's got the black eyes. Of course, they're running their asses off, and then out of nowhere, the bomb gets dropped, and freaking Jeff just shows up with a gun. And you find out that Jeff is basically, it's not really explained why he's capturing these people and leaving them down there with the ghost, which ends up being a former teacher who is his wife. And he talks about that a little bit in the beginning of the movie, but we don't find out it's the wife's ghost until the very end. Jeff reveals the plan. Well, just reveals that it's all him, and I guess he's feeding them to the ghost or something. It's not very much explained. Also, like I call it a popcorn flick, because if you really think about it, all this is on footage that was found by, let's say, police, or was turned into the police. This dude Jeff is on video committing these crimes. Wouldn't he have been being looked for? You know what I mean? And of course, I'm not questioning that. That doesn't hinder the movie in any way, but is why I consider it a sort of like popcorn flick where you just turn your brain off, dude, and just watch it. If you're into found footage, it's entertaining. You're gonna like it. And if you don't, come back and bitch at me. Don't bitch at the director. Bitch at me, because I'm the one talking about it. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you thought about this review. Let me know also how you're doing. I know I'm very bad at responding sometimes. I tend to respond very late. I'm sorry, but no, I care about you. Happy Spookies.